You know what's funny? People don't even realize what's happened to them. It's all right here, plain sight. The word computer is 111. If you add the C, which is a 3, the O, which is a 15, and the M, which is a 13, and so forth and so on, I assure you, in ascending numerical value, A being 1, Z being 26, you will come up with the number 111. The number of man in your Bible is represented by the number 6. If you multiply the number of man times the number that the computer represents, by the way, it's an international word, it's spelled pretty much the same all over the world, you will get 666. Mark of the beast. You have 6 protons, 6 electrons, and 6 neutrons in your body at your carbon base, because everything is carbon based. All carbon is 6, 6, 6. That's carbon based life. Okay? You are trapped inside your DNA. Your DNA is X's on top of X's on top of X's on top of X's, and it just goes on and on and on and on. And each X, when it intersects with another X, is a square, a cube. And we are the G inside this cube. These two intersecting lines are representing the DNA strands together in a DNA helix. DNA helix. You're trapped inside your own prison cell, and you are the G. This is a representation of the Freemasonic symbol, the compass, and the square. Think about that picture in your mind, and in the center of the compass and the square is the G. You think that science takes a back seat to magic. I assure you, the opposite is true. So now you have the G inside the cube, and there's many cubes beside each other inside of a fractalization process. All fractals of you. Because you could take one part of your DNA and it's a bigger part of you. You'd blow it up and you get another part, just like a holographic picture. So you're fractal in nature. The G represents us. We're all trapped inside of this. So G is us. Jesus. Jesus. You cannot say G is us fast or normal speed without saying Jesus. Now, moving on over to here. Our language has code right in it, proving that we're contained, that we're trapped inside of something. The language is the virus. Okay? And this is all prophesized to come true. You might want to call it prophecy. But there's no such thing as prophecy, because there's no such thing as coincidence, because there's no such thing as time. This is all by the book. So, we have check mark, question mark, and when you check mark, question mark, you have exclamation mark, right? Mark of the beast. We all know what's going on with blood over intent. We all know his name. Now, what you don't realize is you're trapped by your own language, because language is spells. You're a spellcaster. You learn spelling in school because you're a spellcaster. You don't realize you're trapped inside the cube and you're doing a sentence. You don't realize that in order to do this sentence, you need to have punctuation marks. So, but the joke's on you. Punctuate, son. Punctuation. Punctuate, son. Punked, you ate son. And the gay sex magic and all the perversion is within colon, right? You're in a coma. You're in a coma because you can't see what's right in front of you. You're fucking asleep. You're the living dead, right? And you don't understand that it's a dialect, right? It's a dialect that you're learning. Dialect, dialect, because they're trying to kill us with this. They're trying to kill us and trap us here with this language virus. It's all a virus. And the computer was designed, the first thing they installed was a cursor to cursor, right? Because it's the mother, the great mother of creation. And they used in that cursor, that's your default cursor, a triangle, like a tail, at the end of a tail. But see, the devil's awake and the devil's aware of what's going on. You're fucked. X and Y, okay, is the X and Y axis, which is used as a graph to explain all things and how we function in this reality. So you have your X and Y axis for your basic, so you can be trapped to create a grid. So if you have an X and Y, you can create a grid with various points on that grid to determine things. So what's happened by making that X and Y is you made a paragraph. So when you look at the word paragraph, you pair a graph, right? A pair meaning an X and a Y, right? Man having the X, or woman having the X chromosome, and man having, the Y chromosome. So the X and the Y, X and the Y. Man having the Y chromosome. So you have the X and the Y, a pair on a graph, a male and a female on the gridiron, the matrix. This is the flat gridiron, right? You can't see it, but you will. And they used it in the words to tell you what they were trying to tell you, but you didn't see it. So they used science to explain things. And really, it's science, because you don't know what's going on. And they have to maintain things. They have to keep it going. So they have to keep their computers the maintenance on their computers. They have to keep the maintenance wherever you work. There has to be some form of maintenance, keeping it clean, keeping everything functioning properly. There has to be maintenance, no matter where you are. There's a form of maintenance. Maintain, ants. And you were trapped. You didn't realize that you were trapped. You don't realize it's magic. You just think you're in a ball floating through space is an accident, and the further couldn't be from the truth. There is no space. You're inside of a matrix, and the words prove it. Solar system, planet, solar system, planet, right? That's exactly what they did. Solar system. Plan it. Planet. Solar system. Plan it. Solar system. That's what they did. And they trapped your eternal essence, your eternal divine spark, what makes you immortal. And like the parasites that they are, they're feeding off of it. I like a saying that Batman says, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you. Right? So once you remove the host from the parasite, the host will live. Parasite, well, it deserves its fate. So in order for these beings, us trapped in these 666 carbon meat packs, we have to procreate. Procreate, right? Because a pro wrote the code. Create. Okay? I'm a pro. I wrote the code. I'm the greatest. But it's not. It's a virus. So we have the procreate, which is the romance, right? Roam, ants. I create you and set you free to roam, ants. And the X and the Y's are going to find each other. At least they used to, is not as much anymore because of the agenda that they're pushing, the transgender agenda. Now they want to alleviate the burden in their mind of the female and male. They just want to use the woman to create the babies so that they can take them. And through economic disparity, That's what they're going to do. You see, all the elites and all the rich, they're all pedophiles and sick, and they're fucking disgusting beyond any measure. But they're also pervert in all ways of their sexuality. They won't create children or create life. No, they'll take it from others. They've been doing it like this from the beginning. Why change now? Something's going to have to force it, right? So through your life, you have to finance a mortgage, right? Most people can't afford it. And there's going to be an interest in that mortgage, right? Because they want to give you the interest. They have the interest to take your money. Interest. I have an interest for my mortgage because my mortgage is a morgue age. My interest is your morgue and age. And in the center is the T, and the T is there to fuck you up and throw you off of what they're doing. But it's morgue age, I assure you. And you need to finance. You have a mortgage, right? With interest, right? Find ants. Find ants. That D is not pronounced and silent here. This T is there and not pronounced and silent here. There is no way around this. There's no way of escaping it. And you're sent ants. You're learning a sentence. You're in your sentence, right? But they sent ants into this way of thinking. So you're trapped inside of this. It's your fate. Or you can put. Now, you look at the chromosomes of the man and the woman, right? The X and the Y chromosomes. Very interesting. I intend to bring forth heaven on earth for the benefit of all.